Okay. All right, well, let's get to it. So I'm going to write down number 1 here.
Your screen is blank.
All right. Exam 1 review. So number 1, pretty chill, just as multiply. Okay, second. The polynomial. So 7x minus 1 or minus 3 times 8x plus 1. The way I like to do it, I mean, you can do the whole FOIL thing or square or whatever you guys want to do. I don't really care. But one way that's kind of nice is to think of it as this first term times this entire term, like so. Minus this, and then the second term times that whole thing. That makes sense?
Yes.
So you could do it that way if you want, and then just distribute. So 7x times 8x. What's 7 times 8? Oh, excuse me.
56.
Yeah, 56, right? 7x times the 1. There we go. Negative 3 times 8. There we go. Negative 3 times the 1. So just super basic, just multiply it out and you'll be good. 7 minus 24 will be negative. A negative 17, right? That's all the S is to do. So we'll move on to number 2. Any questions on number 1?
No.
Number 2 is very similar, so I'm going to leave that to you. Number 3 is factor using the difference of 2 squares. Okay. So this is like the review sections at the beginning of the semester. So you have a few of these. Whenever you have a difference of squares, you got to factor everything into 2 squares and then apply your formula. So this will be 6 minus 9. And just remember that a squared minus b squared is always equal to a plus b times a minus b. Whatever's in this form, that's what you're going to get. So in this case, 6 is the a plus the b, 9z, times 6 minus 9z. That's it. Any questions on number 3? All right, number 4. This one is similar, but a little harder, so let's go ahead and do it. You're going to get 16, so this is u to the 4th minus 1. So rewrite this guy as 4u squared, because u squared is the same as to the 4th, right? 4 squared is the same as 16. That first step, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so at this point, apply the formula just like we did before. This is my A and my B. So this will be 4u squared plus 1 times 4u squared minus 1. So right here, you should notice that that's another difference of squares. So that'll be 4u squared plus 1 times, rewrite this guy. I'm going to put some brackets so it's more obvious. Doesn't matter though. You don't have to use brackets. So this becomes 2u squared. So notice how 2u times 2u is 4u squared, right? Minus 1 squared. That part makes sense?
So how did you get the 2u square again?
Because 2 times 2 is the 4.
Okay.
U times u is u squared. So I'm rewriting this term right here as the whole entire thing squared.
But why are we rewriting this one instead of and not the first one?
Oh, this is a sum of squares. There's no factorization for this. There's only a difference of squares.
Okay.
So when we're doing this difference, another difference appeared. So we're doing it one more time.
Okay, so this is just simplifying it.
No, we're still factoring. We're factoring as much as we can.
Okay.
So then just apply it again right here. So this is going to be 2u plus 1, 2u minus 1. Now there's no more factoring to do. That's it. Okay. I'm going to turn the page in just a second.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When we do the test, do we have to show all of our work exactly like that? Pretty close to
The more the better. But I mean, there's certain things that I don't mind you skipping because I show extra because it's not cool if I skip steps. For example, if you went from like here to here, I mean, that's just fine. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just I don't want to see like this and then this, you know. Otherwise,
I go from like that line 1 to line 3 to line 5.
yeah, that's perfectly fine with me.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's good. I try not to skip too much because then it's just is you know, it's like reading the math book, right? They don't show anything. Okay, you guys cool on this page? If not, let me know.
Do we have an online review that we can also work out, or is this the only review that we have so far, other than all the other homework assignments?
Yeah, this is your review for exam 1.
Okay. And you said that the actual exam is easier than the review?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that everyone does well in this first one. And just remember that we are halfway through the material for exam 2. So exam 2 is going to come up real quick. But we've been talking about this whole time.
Is the exam 2 also going to be bunched up like how we're doing this one?
Yeah,
The
it'll
two
be
different
similar.
sections?
I'll give you a list of sections when we get there.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the syllabus too. The sections for each quiz or for each exam is on there. Okay, so number 5 is factor the sum or difference of cubes. So let me give you both formulas right now. You can have that on your formula sheet. You are allowed a sheet of formulas, whatever you like, just no examples. So a sum of cubes will be a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. A cubed minus b cubed is going to be a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Double check here. Minus plus plus. The other one is plus minus plus. Okay. So in this example, they give us this. Very similar as before. Rewrite it as 2 cubes and then apply your formula. So it's an x cubed and a 2 cubed, right? 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Once it's in this form, that is your a and b. Okay. So it's going to be the second one. X minus 2 times x squared plus x times 2 plus 2 squared. Any questions on number 5? Right? six.
Just
Yep.
to ask about the formulas, you already gave us a sheet for all these formulas, right?
It was there one in Canvas?
I can check that, but you can continue. I'll let you know.
I think I sent you guys at the beginning like a general factoring sheet or something. I don't remember what I sent you, to be honest, but most of the stuff for basic algebra was on there. I think the factoring formulas are all on there. I find the distance between the points 8, 9 and 0, 15. So the formula for distance, we'll call it d, is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So this will be 0 minus 8 plus 15 minus 9. Okay, so that will be 64, 15 minus 9, 6, right? 6 squared, 36. Should be 10. All right. Any questions on this page here? Number 6, cool. Number 5, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'm turn the page up. Let me know if you have any issues. I can turn it back. Number 7 was write the standard form of the equation of the circle with the given characteristics. They give us a center, -2, 8, and a radius. Okay. So we need the equation of a circle. The standard form of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal to your radius squared. So they gave us the center. Remember how you got to swap the signs here? So our answer will be x plus 2, y minus 8 equal to 3 squared. And that's it. If you're given a center and a radius, you're just basically plugging it in, honestly. Okay. Number 8. Write the standard form of the equation of the circle with endpoints at 4, 4, 3. Darn it. 4, 3. And -8, -7. So imagine these are the edges on opposite sides of your circle. They want us to find this type of equation. So in order to do so, we need the center, right? And the radius. Okay. Well, if we use the distance formula, we can find out how far this is from each other, and that would be the diameter. If we cut that in half, we'll have the radius, right? And if we have the radius, we can probably figure out the center too, because halfway from here to here would be the center. So let's figure it out. So distance, I'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2. Distance will be x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. That'll be -8 minus 4, -7 minus 3. All right, so it'll be
I have a
-8.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why couldn't we use midpoint formula?
Midpoint, yeah, you know what? I think that would be better. Midpoint would give us the center. This will give us will help us get the radius right away. Although if you have the center, you could use a point to figure out the radius. So I mean, you can do either one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, honestly. Okay, 12. But yeah, that's a good idea. That'd be 144 plus 100, right? -7. Yeah. Excuse me. Ugh, okay, so that'll be my distance, r. Does this reduce? Four goes into it. So this would be the same as 4 times 61, which would be 2 square root 61. That's the distance from here to here. So half that distance would be the radius. So r would be equal to 1/2 times 2 root 61. There's my radius. Now we can use the midpoint to find the center. I think that might be the easiest way to go about this for the next part. The midpoint of these 2 points will be x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2, which is 4 plus a -8 over 2, 3 plus a -7 over 2. So that will be -2 comma, right? Looks like a -2, right? 3 minus 7 is -4 divided by 2. 4 plus -8 is -4 divided by 2. Yeah, so here's my center. So the equation will be x plus 2 plus y plus 2 equal to this squared, radius squared. So you would just put a 61 here. Anyway, there's multiple ways to find this. You could find the midpoint first, plug in an x and y, and solve for the radius. You can find the midpoint distance, and then just use the formula. You can find the midpoint first and then find the radius. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. As long as you get all the pieces, you'll be good. Any questions on number 8? Okay. 9 and 10 are pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions on these? I was gonna skip them. Unless you want to see one of them. This okay?
Could we see a B on number 9?
Yeah, let's do it. Simplify. Part A obviously is just that. Part B, cube root of 27 over 8 is the same as saying cube root of 27 over cube root over 8. So that'd be 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. That'd be 3. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 halves. So just find the cubes. If you want to see some extra work, you could do say 3 cubed over 2 cubed. You rewrite them as this 8 as a 2 cubed, and that 27 as a 3 cubed. And then, of course, these cancel out, leaving me with 3 over 2.
Okay, thank you. I thought it was going to be more difficult than that.
Yeah, it's not too bad, right?
No.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do this one real quick. It won't take long. That 1 plus square root negative 81 can be rewritten as 1 plus square root of negative 1 times square root of 81. So that'll be 1 plus I times 9. But obviously, you always write it as 1 plus 9i. I always come second, but it doesn't matter. It's just convention. No big deal. Any questions on number 10? All right, 11. This is you're just basically adding these two terms together, nothing else. These parentheses don't do anything. They just group the like terms together. So plus and negative is the same as minus. Plus 8i. That'll be 13 minus 6 minus 2i plus 8i. 13 minus 6, this can be 7 plus 6i. Combine the constants and combine your complex parts. And 12 is the same thing, except you have a minus. So that would become 2 plus 4i. Just distribute your negative sign here to negative 4 minus 16i, which will be 2 minus 4. Negative 4 minus 16 will be negative 12i. That's it. Any questions on 10 or 11 or 12? All right. 13. Write the quotient in standard form. So basically, they don't want any i's on the bottom. So it's kind of like you're rationalizing. So what you have to do is multiply this guy by the conjugate on top and bottom. So 4 minus I is the bottom part. So you always multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. This will be plus I, and this will be plus I. So this will be 4 plus I times 4 plus I over. Conjugates will multiply as a difference of squares. So this will be 4 squared minus I squared. So this will become 4 plus I squared over 16 minus I squared, which will be, either FOIL this out or use your formula. This will be 16 plus 8I plus I squared over 16 minus 1, which this will be 16 plus 8I minus 1 over 15, which gives us 15 plus 8I over 15. Okay. You guys cool on 13?
Yes.
14 is pretty much just similar. We'll skip 14. $15. Okay, so this one's a little annoying. So we have to use a quadratic formula, which is this guy. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That'll be negative 29 plus or minus the square root of negative 29 squared minus 4 times 24 times c. All right, so just plug it all in, right? This is my A, B, C, obviously. Minus, minus. I don't know what this is. Let's see. One on the side, that's a negative 20, so 29 squared doesn't really matter. Minus 4 times 24 times 7, so that'll be inside right there. Over 48. Square root of 169, I believe that's 13. That's a pretty number. Okay, so at this point, we have x equal to 29 plus 13 over 48 as one solution, and x equal to 29 minus 13 over 48. So this will be what? 29 plus 13, 42 over 48. This will be, what is that? (16 over 48), right? This reduces, factor of 6 into 7 over 8. This becomes 1 over 2. No, 3. Okay. Any questions on 15? All right, let's move on to piecewise functions. We're almost finished. So given, we'll shorten the question here, f of x equal to negative 5x minus 5 and x squared plus 2x minus 1, x less than negative 1 and x greater than or equal to negative 1. Part A says find f of negative 3. So f of negative 3 is obviously below negative 1, right? So you're going to use this top equation. So we'll do negative 5 times negative 3 minus 5. So that will become 15 minus 5, which is a 10. So nothing crazy, right? Part B says do f of negative 1. This one is greater than or equal to, so use equation 2 for negative 1 because it's equal to. This one is not equal to, so you can't use this guy. So here we go. And that's it. This will be 1 minus 2 minus 1 minus 2. Any questions on 17? Okay. 18 says find the domain of the function. Well, remember we said whenever you're doing domain for any function, figure out what you're not able to plug in. And here you can plug in whatever you like. So that means the domain is everything. So the domain in interval notation would be negative infinity to infinity, or in plain English would be or all real numbers. And that's it. If you graphed it, you would see that too, but there's no holes or gaps or any problems. There's no spots that this skips. This crosses everything. Okay. All right, let's move on to 19. Let's talk about parabolas. And then we'll go and move on to graphing. Write the standard form of the quadratic. Two comma -3, and the point -245. Ugliest 45 ever. So the standard form for a parabola is this right here. A times x minus h squared plus k, where the vertex is hk. So right away we can plug in this. So our answer would be a times x, opposite here. And then this one's just straight up, whatever it is, okay? But to find the lowercase a, you gotta plug in this term. So plug in the -2. That'll be -2 plus 2. Actually, that point is not helpful. Hold on. Yeah, I see. I messed up right here. This should be opposite, we said. -2. So this would be -2. There you go. This will become a times -4 squared plus 45 equal to 45. So we have, should put an arrow here, 16a plus 45 equal to 45. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Let's fix that before we get too far. I was looking at this number. I think that's what messed me up. Well, this is fine. This is messed up. Okay, so HK, this is -3 right here. Sorry, guys. So add the 3 over, solve for a, divide by 16. A is equal to 3. So final answer, f of x is equal to 3 times x minus 2 minus 3. This is the standard form they're asking for.
So when does the sign get changed? So like the negative, so the vertex is H and K, right? And then we have you said what is it, 2 and then -3. So that vertex, does that become a -2? And if it does that -3 become +3 or it just stays negative?
Yeah, no, notice how this K is positive K here, that this doesn't change. But the H is opposite. So only the H switches.
Oh, okay. So okay, we're following the form. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so this is our like formula right here. Okay. Number 20, they just want you to use the graph f of x to write an equation for part A. B. So basically they want you need to know, well, they told us, so that's good. That this is a absolute value function, but it's pointing downward, right? And it's been shifted from the center to the left, -4. So for this picture, that picture, simply going to be f of x will equal negative on the front because it's been flipped, reflected downward, x plus 4 because it's been shifted. And the k will be 0 because it's not being shifted vertically, just horizontally. So that's all you'll do for number 20. So all you need to remember is, what does this look like? What kind of transformations have they done? And that's it. Nothing crazy. So this one's not reflected, but it's been shifted to the right and then down. Yeah, pretty much it. Over here, it's the same deal, 21. It's a square root function, but it's been shifted to the left, 1, and down 8. So f of x would be equal to the square root of x minus 1 minus 8. So this does the shift down. This 8 here is the vertical shift, and this is the horizontal shift. And that's it. This one has been shifted to this way, down 5, and then reflected. So this would be negative in front. X. I think I got that backwards. This is a horizontal, so this should be plus. This should be minus. Yeah, there we go. Minus 5. So it's shifted down 5 and to the right 2. So this should be minus 2. If it shifts to the left, it's a plus. Anyway, so just remember or use that sheet I gave you with the parent functions. If you don't have them memorized, have the parent functions of all the basic functions. But what I do need you to know is what causes the transformations. Like what causes a vertical shift, horizontal shift, that type of stuff. Okay. All right. So 22 22, I don't think we talked about, but it's really basic, so let's just talk about it now. It's just a notation, honestly. Evaluate given f of x equal to x plus 3 and g of x equals x squared minus 2. F plus g of 9. So whenever you see this notation, f plus g, all that means is do f of 9 and then add g of 9. That's it. Nothing crazy. So this would become 9 plus 3 plus, right, you just plug that in right here, plus 9 squared minus 2. So there's my f and g right here. Okay. So that would be 12 plus 81 minus 2, which would be 12 plus 79, which is 91, right? Yeah. Any questions on this notation? So if you see a plus, just add the functions together. If you see a minus, you subtract them. Nothing crazy. So look at this next one. Find the following, given that f is x squared plus 7 and g is the square root of 5 minus x. Ran out of space there. So they want us to find f plus g of x, but they're not using any number, they're just in general. So that means just add them together and you're done. So that would be just this plus this. F minus g would be simply subtract the functions. So that would be this guy minus this guy. Does that make sense? That pretty straightforward. C, f times g of x will literally be x squared plus 7 times f, the square root of 5 minus x, which would be x squared square root plus 7 square root 5 minus x. And the division is just divide them. Divide f over g, which will be x squared plus 7 over square root of 5 minus x. The only thing is you might have to rationalize this. Is there any questions on A, B, C, D? Is that pretty straightforward? Just want to make sure that we at least talk about it once. But yeah, as you can see, there's nothing really to it, right? This means divide them, this means multiply, given that f and g are right here. You write g better.
So when you're saying rationalize, like you're saying like that numerator, if it were a difference of squares, then we would have to factor that out. Or
Oh yeah, just get rid of the square root. That's it. So in this case, to rationalize, all you gotta do is this.
oh, okay, just multiply the denominators.
Yeah, if it was two terms, then you'd have to do that conjugate thing you're talking about. But here you just do it this way. You'll end up with this. You could multiply that out if you want. It's all good. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. Do you have any questions on any of the on 22 or 23? Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's not too bad, right?
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay. Right then, let me see where we are on the schedule.
So, question, when are we supposed to multiply by the conjugate and when is that we multiply by the same?
If you have like two terms on the bottom, like if you had 7 plus square root 5 minus x, then you have to do conjugate. But this is a single term, so you don't have to. Okay. So we'll say 1.8 for next time. Let's see here. So Tuesday we can do 1826. And probably 27. Let me see here, 1 second. Yeah, we'll stop right here. So I'll let you guys study and do your exam, and then as soon as I see you again, we're gonna just move on to exam 2 material.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So what about unit 2 review? Are we still gonna do that, or are you gonna change the date on that to reflect right before the second test?
I'm gonna move that. I'll move that date, but here, let me show you. Like I said last time, I was a little off on the sections, but here.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was working that one, but I didn't know if it was gonna change right prior to second test for unit 2 review.
Where is it? So our exam is covering these 2 sections, but we already finished all this. See what I'm saying? So we just reviewed this material just now. We're gonna finish this next week, and then you'll have exam over these 2 shortly after that. Probably early November, or maybe second week will be due. And then we'll start here. So unit 2, has that closed? What was your question about unit 2?
So unit 2 closes on the 17th, but it's still gonna cover part of second test. Gonna complete it, or are we gonna just wait until prior to test?
I mean, it should already be done, but I don't mind giving you an extension on unit 2. I'd rather you focus on exam 1 at this point. But just make sure that all the sections are finished up until 4.2. But unit 2, unit 1. Yeah, I would focus on the review. I can push this a little further.
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, we'll stop here. So we'll start.
Sure. Yeah, I had a quick question.
Mhm.
So I was doing